dive into today's episode, I just want to remind you to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Your support means the world to us. It helps us grow, reach more amazing learners like you, and keep bringing you fresh and fun content every week. So don't forget, like, subscribe, and let's keep this journey going strong. Hello, brilliant idiom explorers, and a very warm welcome back to another insightful episode of Idiom Insights. I'm Emma, your enthusiastic guide, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be here with you again, ready to delve into the fascinating nuances of some more common English phrases. It's always a pleasure to share this learning journey with you as we navigate the colorful world of English.
And I'm Jack, your co-host and ever-curious word detective, here to help unravel the meanings and perhaps share a chuckle or two as we explore the rich landscape of idiomatic English. It's wonderful to be back in the Idiom Insights studio, Emma, and a big hello to all our fantastic listeners around the world. Thanks for tuning in for another dose of idiom discovery.
It's always a joy, Jack. Today, we've selected 4 incredibly useful and vivid idioms that you'll undoubtedly encounter in everyday English. Understanding these will not only significantly boost your comprehension, but also provide you with more natural and expressive ways to communicate your own thoughts and observations. These phrases cover working extremely hard, disrupting plans, perseverance, and great speed.
A truly excellent and varied mix today, Emma. These are idioms that really add character and depth to conversation. Here are the 4 idioms we'll be diving into in this episode of Idiom Insights. First, an idiom for working incredibly hard, often to the point of exhaustion. Work your fingers to the bone. Second, a phrase for spoiling a carefully arranged plan or situation. Upset the apple cart. Third, an expression encouraging perseverance through difficult times. Stay the course. And finally, an idiom for running extremely fast. Run like the wind.
Those are all fantastic and very evocative idioms, Jack. Each one paints a very clear picture and is used frequently, so understanding them will be incredibly beneficial for our listeners as they engage in English conversations and encounter these phrases in media.
I couldn't agree more. They're all very practical and insightful. And before we delve into the intricacies of our first idiom, a quick and sincere request from both of us here at Idiom Insights. If you're finding these episodes valuable for your English learning journey and you enjoy our explorations, please take a moment to subscribe or follow our podcast on your preferred listening platform.
Yes, subscribing is the best way to ensure you don't miss any of our future idiom adventures and linguistic discoveries. And if you're feeling extra supportive, a like or a positive rating on your podcast platform truly helps other English learners discover Idiom Insights. We are so grateful for your engagement and continued support. It really fuels our passion for this.
It genuinely makes a massive difference. Thank you all for being part of our community. Right then, Emma, are you ready for our first idiom, which sounds rather painful?
Let's do it! Our first idiom for this episode of Idiom Insights is, work your fingers to the bone.
Work your fingers to the bone. Ouch! This sounds very extreme and quite painful. What does this idiom actually mean, Emma?
It is a very strong image, Jack, and it reflects the extreme meaning. To work your fingers to the bone means to work extremely hard, often for a very long period of time, and usually on physically demanding or arduous tasks, to the point of complete exhaustion. The image is of working so hard that your fingers are worn down to the bone. A clear exaggeration to emphasize the sheer amount of effort and toil involved.
So it's a step beyond just working hard. It implies a level of exhaustive, relentless labor. If someone is working 2 jobs to support their family and barely gets any rest, you could say they are working their fingers to the bone.
Precisely. Or if a farmer has to harvest all their crops before a big storm arrives and works day and night without a break, they are working their fingers to the bone. The idiom emphasizes the grueling and physically draining nature of the work. It often implies a sense of sacrifice and tireless dedication.
It has a slightly negative connotation in some ways, doesn't it? It suggests that the work is so hard it's causing physical harm or extreme exhaustion. It's not just about being productive, it's about being overworked.
That's a very good point. While it can be used to praise someone's incredible work ethic and determination, it also often highlights the immense personal cost of that hard work. It conveys a sense of struggle and immense effort, not just easy productivity.
So, it's about that grueling, non-stop effort that leaves you completely depleted.
Exactly. It's that image of total physical commitment and exhaustion.
Okay, so to work your fingers to the bone means to work extremely hard, especially at a physically demanding or arduous task, to the point of exhaustion. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this idiom?
Let's listen in. I wonder who they might be discussing who has been working so incredibly hard.
Mark, I saw your dad in town yesterday, and I was a little worried about him. He looked incredibly tired. Is he doing okay? I thought he was supposed to be enjoying his retirement.
Oh, hi, Mia. Yes, he's officially retired, but you know my dad, he can't sit still. He's been helping my brother renovate his old farmhouse. And when I say helping, I mean he's basically doing most of the heavy lifting himself.
Oh, renovating a whole farmhouse is a massive job. That involves a lot of difficult physical labor, doesn't it?
It does. He's there from sunrise to sunset every day, tearing down walls, laying floors, and doing all the plastering. My brother says he has to force him to stop for lunch. He has worked his fingers to the bone his entire life to provide for us, and he just doesn't know how to slow down.
Wow. It's admirable that he's so dedicated, but he needs to be careful not to overdo it now that he's older. Working your fingers to the bone on a project like that can really take its toll. I hope he gets some rest soon.
That was a perfect example. Mia and Mark discussed how Mark's father was working his fingers to the bone on the farmhouse renovation, highlighting the extremely hard, physical, and exhaustive nature of his labor, even in retirement.
Exactly. The idiom conveyed not just hard work, but the grueling and relentless effort he was putting in, which was a source of both admiration for his work ethic and concern for his well-being.
It's a very common and powerful idiom for describing that level of extreme exertion.
It is. So next time you see someone working incredibly hard to the point of exhaustion, remember the idiom, they are working their fingers to the bone.
And we'd love to hear about a time you or someone you know worked your fingers to the bone. What was the project or task? Share your stories of hard work in the comments section below this episode.
Great idea, Jack. Let's move on now to our second idiom in this episode of Idiom Insights. This one sounds like it could make a mess.
Our second idiom today is upset the apple cart.
Upset the apple cart. This creates a very clear and unfortunate image of a cart full of neatly stacked apples being overturned and spilling everywhere. What does it mean to upset the apple cart, Jack?
Your visual is spot on, Emma. To upset the apple cart means to spoil a carefully arranged plan, situation, or system, often by doing or saying something unexpected or disruptive. Just like overturning an apple cart ruins the careful arrangement and creates a mess, this idiom refers to an action that ruins a stable or well-organized state of affairs.
So it's about causing disruption and spoiling a plan that was working fine. For example, if a team has a well-established and efficient workflow, and a new manager comes in and changes everything, without understanding why it was set up that way, they could upset the apple cart and cause chaos and inefficiency.
Precisely. Or if a family has a carefully planned holiday schedule, and one person suddenly decides they want to do something completely different that disrupts everyone else's plans, they are upsetting the apple cart. It often implies that the disruption is unwelcome and causes problems for others.
It's often used as a warning, isn't it? Someone might say, "Let's not do that. We don't want to upset the apple cart," meaning they don't want to risk ruining a stable or satisfactory situation by introducing a disruptive element.
Yes, it's very frequently used as a cautionary phrase. It suggests that while the current situation may not be perfect, it's stable, and introducing a change could make things much worse. It's about weighing the risk of disruption against the potential benefits of a change.
So, if two countries have a delicate but stable political agreement, a careless or provocative action by one side could upset the apple cart and ruin the peaceful relationship.
Exactly. It's about spoiling a carefully balanced arrangement.
So, to upset the apple cart means to spoil a carefully arranged plan or situation, often by doing something disruptive. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this idiom?
Let's listen in. I wonder what careful plan they might be worried about disrupting.
Mark, I'm so glad we finally got everyone in our department to agree on the new rota for weekend shifts. It took weeks of negotiation and compromise to find a schedule that everyone felt was fair.
Tell me about it, Mia. That was a really difficult process. But yes, it's great that we now have a stable system that works for everybody. It's made things so much less stressful.
Well, about that, I was just talking to David. And he's thinking of asking for a special exception so he can have every Saturday off, which would mean everyone else would have to change their shifts again to cover for him.
Oh no, not David. After all the effort we put into creating that balanced schedule, if he insists on changing his shifts now, it will completely upset the apple cart. Everyone else will have to renegotiate their weekends, and all that harmony we created will be gone. People will be so annoyed.
That's what I told him. I said, David, please don't upset the apple cart. We have a system that works for everyone now. I'm hoping he reconsiders because his request would ruin the whole carefully balanced plan.
That dialogue clearly illustrates the idiom. Mia and Mark were worried that David's request for a special exception would upset the apple cart, meaning it would disrupt and ruin the carefully negotiated and stable weekend rota that everyone had finally agreed upon.
Exactly. The idiom perfectly captured their fear of a carefully balanced plan being spoiled by a single disruptive action, leading to chaos and dissatisfaction for the rest of the group.
It's a very common and descriptive phrase for that kind of unwelcome disruption.
It is. So, next time you are worried about a stable plan or situation being ruined, you can warn against upsetting the apple cart.
And we'd love to hear about a time someone threatened to upset your apple cart. What was the plan and what was the disruption? Share your stories in the comments below the episode.
Wonderful idea, Jack. Let's move on now to our third idiom in this episode of Idiom Insights. This one is about perseverance.
Our third idiom for today is stay the course.
Stay the course. This sounds like a nautical term, like a ship continuing on its planned route. What does it mean when a person decides to stay the course, Jack?
Your nautical intuition is spot on, Emma. To stay the course means to continue with a plan, a course of action, or a set of beliefs with determination, even when facing difficulties, obstacles, or pressure to change. It means to persevere and not give up or deviate from your original path.
So it's about persistence and refusing to be deterred by challenges. If an entrepreneur is building a business and they face early setbacks and financial difficulties, but they continue to believe in their vision and work hard, they are staying the course.
Precisely. Or if a government is implementing a difficult but necessary long-term policy that is unpopular in the short term, the leader might urge everyone to stay the course, believing that the long-term benefits will be worth the current difficulties. It implies a commitment to a long-term strategy, even when it's tough.
It sounds like a very strong and resolute thing to do. It suggests you have a clear goal and you are determined to reach it, no matter what obstacles you encounter along the way. It's the opposite of quitting or changing direction at the first sign of trouble.
Yes, it's about steadfastness and resolve. It's often used as a piece of encouragement for someone who is struggling with a long and difficult task, like studying for a degree, training for a marathon, or trying to achieve any significant long-term goal.
So, if an activist is campaigning for social change and faces a lot of opposition and criticism, but they continue their work because they believe strongly in their cause, they are staying the course.
Exactly. They are holding true to their purpose.
So, to stay the course means to continue with a plan or course of action with determination, despite difficulties or opposition. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this encouraging idiom?
Let's listen in. I wonder what difficult journey one of them might be encouraged to continue.
Mark, how are you getting on with learning to play the guitar? I remember you started lessons a few months ago and you were so enthusiastic about it.
Oh, hi, Mia. Well, to be honest, it's been really challenging lately. I feel like I've hit a plateau. I'm practicing every day, but I don't feel like I'm making much progress, and my fingers still hurt. I'm starting to get really discouraged and wonder if I should just give up. Maybe I'm just not musical.
Oh, Mark, don't say that. Learning any musical instrument is incredibly difficult and takes a lot of time and patience. Everyone hits plateaus where it feels like you're not improving. That's a normal part of the learning process.
I know, but it's so frustrating to practice so much and still sound so clumsy. It makes me want to just put the guitar in its case and forget about it.
You can't give up now. You've already made so much progress from when you first started. The most important thing now is to just stay the course. Keep up with your regular practice, trust the process, and eventually you will break through this plateau. Don't let a temporary feeling of frustration derail your long-term goal.
Stay the course? You're right, I guess I was just looking for quick results, but you're right, it's a long journey. Okay, I'll stick with it. Thanks for the encouragement, Mia.
That dialogue perfectly illustrates the idiom. Mia encouraged Mark to stay the course with his guitar lessons, meaning she was advising him to persevere and continue with his efforts despite feeling discouraged and facing difficulties, in order to achieve his long-term goal.
Exactly. The idiom was used as a powerful piece of motivation to not give up in the face of a challenge and to remain committed to his original plan. It highlighted the importance of persistence.
It's a very common and effective way to encourage someone to keep going.
It is. So next time you or someone you know is facing a difficult challenge on a long journey, remember the encouraging words, "Stay the course."
And we'd love to hear about a time you had to stay the course to achieve something important. What was the challenge? Share your stories of perseverance in the comments below the episode.
Wonderful idea, Jack. Now, we've arrived at our fourth and final idiom for this episode of Idiom Insights. This one is about incredible speed.
Our final idiom for today is run like the wind.
Run like the wind. This is a beautiful and very clear simile. It must mean to run extremely fast. Right, Jack?
You've got it perfectly, Emma. To run like the wind means to run very, very fast with great speed and energy. It compares a person's speed to the speed of the wind, which is a powerful and fast-moving natural force. It's a way to emphasize incredible swiftness.
So it's not just running fast, but running at your absolute maximum speed, often with a sense of freedom or urgency. If you see a champion sprinter in a race, you might describe them by saying, "Wow, she can really run like the wind."
Precisely. Or it can be used as an instruction or encouragement. If you are playing a game with a child and you want them to run as fast as they can to a goal, you might shout, "Run like the wind." It's an evocative way to say, run as fast as you possibly can.
It often implies a sense of grace and effortlessness, like the wind itself, even though the person is exerting themselves fully. It's used to describe a very impressive display of speed.
Yes, it's a very common and slightly poetic way to describe great speed. You might use it in a story to describe a character escaping from danger. She heard the noise behind her and she took off, running like the wind through the forest.
So it's about running at a very high velocity.
Exactly, as fast as you can imagine.
So, to run like the wind means to run extremely fast. Ready to hear Mia and Mark use this speedy idiom?
Let's listen in. I wonder what might be causing someone to run so quickly in their story.
Mark, I had the funniest memory pop into my head this morning. I was thinking about our school sports days when we were kids. Do you remember those?
Oh, sports days. Yes, I remember them well. I was never very good at the long-distance races, but I was okay at the short sprints.
Well, I remember one year, in the 100-meter sprint, you were up against David, who was the fastest kid in our year by far. We all just assumed he would win easily.
I remember that race. I was so nervous at the starting line, but then as soon as the race started, something just clicked. My dad was on the sidelines shouting, "Go on, Mark, run like the wind." And for some reason, I just felt this huge burst of energy.
You did. I was watching from the crowd. You just took off. You were running like the wind. You were so fast that you actually beat David by a hair's breadth. No one could believe it. It was the biggest upset of the day.
It was my one moment of athletic glory. I've probably never run that fast since, but I still remember my dad shouting, "Run like the wind."
That dialogue wonderfully illustrates the idiom. Mia and Mark reminisced about a school race where Mark, encouraged by his dad, ran like the wind, meaning he ran incredibly fast and achieved an unexpected victory.
Exactly. The idiom captured the incredible speed and energy of his performance in that one memorable race. It was used to describe a burst of exceptional swiftness.
It's a very common and evocative idiom for describing great speed.
It is. So next time you see someone running incredibly fast, you can say they are running like the wind.
And we'd love to hear about a time you had to run like the wind. What was the situation? Share your speedy stories in the comments below this episode.
We always appreciate reading your comments and experiences. Well, Emma, we've explored 4 more really insightful and useful idioms in this episode of Idiom Insights.
We certainly have, Jack. Just to recap for everyone tuning into Idiom Insights today, we learned
Work your fingers to the bone, meaning to work extremely hard, to the point of exhaustion.
upset the apple cart, meaning to spoil a carefully arranged plan or situation.
Stay the course, meaning to continue with a plan or course of action with determination, despite difficulties.
And run like the wind, meaning to run extremely fast.
4 more fantastic additions to your English idiom repertoire. Remember, the best way to make these phrases a natural part of your vocabulary is to actively listen for them in real-life conversations and media, and then to build your confidence by trying to use them yourself in appropriate contexts.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to experiment. The more you use them, the more comfortable and fluent your English will become, and the more you'll be able to express nuanced meanings with flair.
And if you enjoyed learning with us today, and we sincerely hope you did, please consider giving this episode of Idiom Insights a like and leaving us a positive review on your podcast platform. Your support helps us reach more learners and continue creating this content.
And make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button for Idiom Insights so you don't miss any of our future episodes, where we'll continue to unravel the wonderful and sometimes witty world of English idioms.
Thank you all so much for joining us today. It's been a pleasure exploring these phrases with you.
Keep learning, keep listening, and we'll talk to you again next time on Idiom Insights.
Goodbye, everyone.
See ya!